Welcome to week 4 of social studies. This week we're going to be touching on both the latitude and longitude that we worked on last week and their positioning and influence on the different climate zones of the Earth. Let's get going. I'm about to share the screen and we will jump into our presentation. So as we see, going out from the equator here, which is the middle of the Earth and runs east and west, we have zones that go north and south. Let's start at the south, also known as the southern hemisphere. At 23.5 degrees latitude south, we encounter the Tropic of Capricorn. This is a very hot area and greatly influences our travel, our food supply, our population, as well as, and most importantly, our climate. And this is directly being affected quite harshly by climate change. As we head south, we enter the Antarctic Circle at 65.5 degrees south latitude. This is now where we get into really cold area. This is where the penguins live, down in the southern poles, and this is where we get into a very large area of land that has almost no people. There's approximately 1,000 to 5,000 people that live in Antarctica. And finally, when we get to the exact bottom of the Earth, we are at the South Pole at 90 degrees south latitude. As we make our way back to the equator and go north, we encounter the Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degrees north. Again, a very hot area that's being affected by climate change, but also has a great effect on population, food supply, and travel. As we head north, we now enter the Arctic Circle. This is the same degree as the Antarctic, and so are the tropics. So as you can tell, that's very uniform in the world. So here again, we start encountering very cold weather and parts of northern Alaska in America enter the Arctic Circle. And finally, as we head up north, we end up at 90 degrees north at the North Pole. If you see these zones, they are exactly identical throughout the Earth. And as we go on, we'll see why. Here's a short video to watch, just as an introduction to the important latitude lines in the Earth. And after the presentation, we invite you to go ahead and click on there and watch this in full. It's a very short video and supplies some good information. But as you see here, we do have the Arctic Circle here, the Antarctic Circle here, and our Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, and Equator in our background picture, as well as the things that are influenced by them. So this is another little graph of what the different zones in the Earth look like, plotted out according to the Earth's axis, which we know the Earth does not stand up straight. It's at a 23-degree axis. This video goes into depth about the different climate zones and how they are affected by different times in the year. Okay, now that we've watched all of our presentation and our videos, it's time for us to use that knowledge of latitude, longitude, equator, prime meridian, the Tropic of Capricorn, and the Tropics of Cancer to plot a ship voyage. Your mission as captain is, you will plot your voyage using 3 latitude and longitude coordinates. You can do a Google search stating latitude and longitudinal line 4, and then place your city. You're going to copy and paste the latitude and longitudinal coordinates into a text box with the name of the city you are leaving, the appropriate climate zone that is in, as well as the coordinates of that city. An example will be given to you on the next slide. Be sure to include your first and last name. We need to know who you are, and we need you to get into the habit of always putting your first and last name on any document that you hand in. We also need you to travel through at least 3 different climate zones. And an example, which I did, is you start at the Tropic of Capricorn, and then your first leg of your voyage goes to the Antarctic Circle, and finally ending up at the equator. Plot your trip on the globe using slide 7, and you can use arrows or any other graphics you choose. An example of how you can do it is on slide 6. I'll also go through you real quick and show you how to do it. Bon voyage! Here's my example. I start out at Rio de Janeiro, and it's at latitude 22.9. And we know that latitude 23.5 is the Tropic of Capricorn. And that goes all the way to the equator. So anything below 23.5 and anything above 0 south is going to be in the Tropic of Capricorn. So I start there, and then I go all the way south down to Antarctica, which is in the Antarctic Circle. And that's at 82 degrees south. And we all know from the first slide that 65.3 is the line for the Arctic Circle. So once I get done there, I'm going to go all the way north towards the equator and enter Singapore, Malaysia. And that is located on the equator. And how do I know? Well, the latitude is at 1.3521 degrees north. So that is almost exactly on the equator. It's only 1.3 degrees north, 1.4. And for my designs, I simply use some stars, arrows, and I did different colors for the stars to represent the different legs. And now I have 1, 2, 3 coordinates for my voyage. Here's your map. And let me show you really quick how we can go ahead and do it. Here's my text box. I'm going to do Maui, Hawaii. So I'm going to create a text box real quick. Hawaii is right here. And then I'm going to fill it in. And I'm going to use this tab and write in latitude and longitude for Maui, Hawaii. And there it is. It automatically comes up. It's 20.7984 degrees north of the equator. So I'm going to look on my top slide here and check that out, 20 degrees north, and I realize I'm going to be in the Tropic of Cancer. So when I go down to my slide, I know I'm going to center it, and I'm going to say, Maui, Hawaii, Tropic of Cancer. And now it's just as simple as cutting and pasting here. Command C, Command V, and then just adjusting the text, making it smaller, move it down to 12. That should help it. And then break it in half so that I know any north-south coordinates are latitude. And any east-west coordinates are longitude. We remember that from last week and doing all those plot points. So what I'm going to do is create my box here. Move it into place. Shorten it a little. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose a shape to start my trip. I'll go with the star. And there's the Hawaiian Islands, and it's too small to really get perfectly, but I'm in the area. And so there's my star for my start off point. And I could even change the back gradient a little so it's easier to read. And take out the background. And here we go. So now, where do I want to go? Well, I want to go down here to Tierra del Fuego, southernmost point of South America. I'm going to go ahead and get an arrow and choose this one, and I'm going to run her out. And this takes a little playing with, because you never really know until you start doing it. But what I'm going to do is try and get the angle correct and then move it over. Angle correction, move it over. There we go. And here, I'm going to do the same thing for Tierra del Fuego. I'll find out where it lies in the climate zone, what its latitude is, what its longitude is, and I'll place that in there. And then I'll finish up wherever I want to be. You guys make your own voyage, and I hope we don't have a lot starting from Maui. Choose your own place in the earth where you want to start, and choose your own places where you want to go for your second and third leg. Make it about you. Where are your favorite places in the world you'd love to go? And there you are. Thank you. Go back into your Zoom meeting and complete any discussions you want to have. Have a great day, everyone.